Look at your phone screen. No buttons, no springs, no moving parts under the glass. And yet it pinpoints your finger 60 times a second out of thousands of possible spots. Here's the twist. That glass isn't feeling pressure at all. Push it hard with a pencil eraser and absolutely nothing happens. Rest a dead, disconnected finger on it. Nothing again. So what is it actually sensing? The answer is electricity. Yours. Strip the whole mystery down to one fact. Your body is a natural conductor. Skin, salt water, blood. You're basically a wire with a face, and you're constantly leaking a faint electric charge into anything you touch. That matters because underneath the glass sits an invisible electrical grid, humming with a tiny, constant voltage. So what happens the instant a conductor touches a surface that's already carrying its own electric field? Here's what most people assume. A touchscreen works because pressing it physically squeezes two layers together, closing a tiny circuit like a light switch. That's true. For the old kind of screen, the resistive touchscreens found in older ATMs, gas pumps, and cheap gadgets, which really do need a firm press to bend one layer down onto the other. But it's not what's under your phone's glass. Your screen doesn't need pressure at all, and that press two layers story is simply the wrong screen. Your phone's glass is coated in a mesh of hair-thin, transparent electrodes, arranged in rows and columns you'll never see, made from a material called indium tin oxide, clear enough to be invisible, conductive enough to carry a signal. A controller chip pumps a faint, steady electric field across that entire grid, all the time, even when nobody's touching it. Think of it as a perfectly still pond of electricity stretched over the whole screen, just waiting to be disturbed. Here's the trick. Your finger doesn't press a switch, it steals charge. The moment your finger nears the glass, your body pulls a tiny, measurable sliver of that electric field toward itself, warping the grid right at that spot. Engineers call it a change in capacitance, but you can think of it more simply. Your finger is a tiny, greedy antenna, and the grid feels exactly where the theft happened. No pressure, no click, no moving part. Just a conductor reaching toward a field and bending it. That warp is the entire signal. A controller chip scans that grid up to 100 times a second, watching every intersection for the tiny dip your finger causes. Your finger is wider than the gaps in the grid, so it dims several points at once. And the chip compares how much each one dropped to triangulate a location far more precise than the grid itself. That's how a screen with a coarse grid still tracks your fingertip down to a fraction of a millimeter. Scan the grid, compare the dip, calculate the spot. This is also why an ordinary glove leaves you tapping uselessly at your phone. Fabric blocks the charge path between your skin and the glass, so the screen never feels the pull. No charge, no touch. A plain pen tip fails for the same reason. Wood and plastic don't conduct, so the field never notices it's there. But a capacitive stylus works fine, because underneath the tip is a conductor wired straight back to your hand, and some winter gloves even weave in metal threads just to close that same circuit. So next time you swipe your phone, forget the idea that you're pressing anything. Picture what's really happening. A still electric field under the glass, and your own finger reaching in and quietly stealing a piece of it 60 times a second. It isn't pressure, and it isn't magic. It's just electricity at your fingertip. If you'll never look at a screen the same way again, that's the whole point of this channel. Stick around, we'll keep cutting things open.